PixieBrix live study with me. Hello and welcome to everyone. We have some experts with us to help us. Hello, Todd.
Hi, Anders. Good to see you again.
Todd, we have so many great people in the chat. While I show some of the messages, can you introduce yourself and PixieBrix?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm Todd Schiller, and I'm one of the co-founders of PixieBrix and also our CEO. What PixieBrix is it's the most versatile low-code platform to modify and enhance the websites that your team and you already use. And so it's a really great way to add on missing functionality, whether that's rapid actions, knowledge bases, anything from compliance even to productivity tools onto the sites that you already use. And it's, as you'll see today, it's very quick to get up and running.
And am I wrong if I'm saying that PixieBrix works extremely well with UiPath and Automation Anywhere?
Oh, no, definitely not wrong at all. So we're Tech Alliance partners with both UiPath and Automation Anywhere. And PixieBrix is a great way to bring automation onto any site, even if those tools don't have built-in plugins.
Cool. And Todd, I will start studying right away. I will turn on the clock for us to study. I will be sharing every step, so how we log in, how we register us, and then we will start studying together. You can study at your own pace back home. You can ask all the questions you want to Todd here. Mark and Mike will join a little bit later. And Todd will answer those questions as good as he can. I'm not a PixieBrix expert. I'm just a PixieBrix fan, and I can see PixieBrix works extremely well with my attended automation in UiPath for the most, but it works well in a lot of cases beyond that. So to go to the PixieBrix University, you can go to either PixieBrix.com and then up here get the new PixieBrix Professional Certification and click Start Now. If you can't find that, there's also a link in the description below, and I will post it in the chat as well. I already did that, but I will be posting it as well. And thanks for all the lovely messages here in the chat. It's amazing, all of you great people out there. So this is where we sign up for the PixieBrix Professional Certification. And while I sign up here, Todd, can you just be talking, like commenting like a football's commentator, what we are seeing?
Yeah, so this is the new PixieBrix certification portal. And so today we're going to be working on our first certification, which is called the PixieBrix Professional Certification. And it's really, you can get started even if you've never used PixieBrix before. It assumes no working knowledge of PixieBrix, no knowledge of RPA or other tools. It's just a great way to get started and get your feet wet with PixieBrix and have, and so what we'll see when we enter the portal is a whole learning path that we've constructed that will take you from kind of no knowledge of PixieBrix all the way to being able to use PixieBrix within your organization to deliver great actions and enhancements to your team members, both to make your own life more productive as well as your team members' life productive. And so here you'll see our first product. It's listed under product, but all of our certifications are free. And so you won't be asked to swipe a credit card or anything.
Cool. So everything is free here. And whenever we signed in up here, we will be clicking this. Is that right?
Yep.
And that will take us to the certification page, and I can see I'm logged in up here. This is necessary, then we can get the certification afterwards, and we can see everything. And you can, I enrolled with an email, but you can enroll with either a Microsoft or Google account as well. I will click enroll for free, and I will start the clock. We will do 25 minutes, and where I will be talking. This is. I will just mute Mark here so we can hear ourselves talk. But you should definitely watch Mark here. Mark is your colleague, Todd.
Yep. Mark is our enterprise solutions architect and also the creator of the certification course. So you can either thank him or send all your angry messages towards him. And he'll also be joining a bit later in the live stream. He's on the West Coast here, so it's still quite early in the morning for him.
It's amazing. So this is the certification, and this is the one we're studying for today. And the goal is that we get the certification for our LinkedIn resumes. So what are the chapters about, if you should give us a brief overview of these?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first chapter just walks through what is the structure of the certification and what to expect. The second chapter gives an overview of PixieBrix, including what some of the use cases are, as well as what are the main components of the PixieBrix solution. And then each chapter in turn walks through one of those main components. And so I believe the first chapter is on actually installing PixieBrix. So you'll get up and running there. Again, the only couple things that you need to do this certification, so you need a computer running the Google Chrome browser, and then you'll also need a Google or a Microsoft account to register with PixieBrix. And so just like this certification, PixieBrix is free. It's free for both individuals and small teams. So you can get up and running with very little today. After that, we'll walk you through actually creating your first actions and enhancements using PixieBrix. And then beyond that, we'll show you how to, once you've created things, manage things in what we call the extension console of which bricks are active in your browser. And then also walk through the marketplace, which is a great place to receive, find pre-built things to either activate or customize. And then look at the admin console, which is the way that you manage blueprints and roll things out to your team members.
It's so cool, Todd. And Mark is here with us. We just talked about the sun, and there it is.
His ears were ringing.
Yeah. Where do you think maybe he can tell us ourselves when he joins the stream where he's from? I know he's from the West Coast, so it's quite early over there. But I will start studying since we take away the clock. I will try to comment the best I can while I study. And Todd, maybe you can correct me if I say something wrong. As I said, I'm a PixieBrix, a big fan. I'm not an expert in the product at all. I will just try to get a certification like all of you out there. So here I will complete and continue. I already completed 4%. So this is the course overview, and you already took us through this, so I will skip this one here. So this is our certification. This is the one that we're studying for today. We will need to answer 25 multiple choices in the end, and we will need to have 18 of them correctly answered. I will be sharing my screen during the exam. I'm not sure it will be the same questions delivered to you, but I will talk my way through my answers, and then you can maybe take a little bit out of those, and that can help you. So open notes, feel free to use any resources. I will definitely recommend that you have your PixieBrix instance open while we take the exam, but all that later in the session. Just let's get started. And Todd, I have to ask you, this is the certificate. It's signed by you. What happened when you take this? Who will sign them?
It's still me that signs it. So it's, I think I sent around the meme, and maybe I don't know if there's a way to post in the chat, but have a lot of memes running around the company of me granting myself the certification.
Yeah, you send a picture to me. Maybe you can send that in the Slack, which I will show in a little while.
Oh yeah.
And this is you'll even get a credential ID, which we can use on LinkedIn for later use. With that said, the first one, that is the Slack community. I will say that one of the great things about PixieBrix, because I played around with PixieBrix a little bit, that is the community Slack, which is a place where you can network and get help. And I will try to show it here. This is the community Slack where even you, Todd, as the owner or CEO, are present. You are answering a lot of these things. You can see here, Danny Penner made a question about a jQuery selector, and he got 25 replies, maybe some of them from himself, but a lot of great people helping in there. And let me try to, in the Hangout, I'll try to make a message here. Maybe you can post your meme there. Hello, everyone from the live video.
Yeah, we'll have to...
And then I will get back to studying. But again, join the community. And why are you taking this certification course? Well, I will say my main reasons. That is get a nice patient for my LinkedIn, learn a new skill, improve my RPA attended automations. What do you think about those answers, Todd? That's something you see a lot, or are those
Yeah, no, those are great, especially for folks who have experience with RPA like yourselves.
Cool. And I will send them in for feedback, and then we will continue. So this is the PixieBrix overview. We have a Chrome extension, and this is where PixieBrix runs. And we already have the first question, so I think I will start studying, and then I will leave the question with you, Todd. Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is the question. Maybe you can read aloud, and then you can answer it afterwards.
Great. So the question is if we could give an overview on the tool and what some of the capabilities of the tool. And so as Anders mentioned, PixieBrix deploys as a browser extension. And so I like to put it in reference to some of the other browser extensions that you might be familiar with. So I think a lot of people are familiar with Grammarly, which is an extension that allows you to add grammar check and text suggestions onto any text field. You may also be familiar with things like ad blockers, which are able to hide certain elements from the page, or password managers, which are able to store passwords and then fill out form fields. Other folks may be familiar with things like text expanders or text templating extensions or translation extensions. So extensions are a really great way to add functionality on any site, regardless of if that site has the functionality or if it's an internal tool. Sometimes I like to describe browser extensions even as being augmented reality, right? Because what I see is very different than maybe what Anders sees or what my parents see when they're on the internet. And so what PixieBrix is it's a low-code way to actually build out those capabilities on your own. And so you can really customize any website or any capability that works across websites in a very rapid way. And so there's kind of the different components of the PixieBrix ecosystem. We talk about the PixieBrix browser extension. That's what we use to, there's kind of two pieces to it. The first part is what we call our page editor. That's the point and click editor that you can use to create your own actions and enhancements. And then we also, in the extension console, that's also where you manage which actions and enhancements are active. So after you've created something or installed something from our marketplace, let's say that you want to turn it off at some point, right? You would manage that there. There's also some settings you can manage, as well as we integrate with a lot of third-party services, including things like Google Drive. We mentioned UiPath, Automation Anywhere. That's also where you would set up your local credentials to be able to call into those integrations. Did that answer your question?
Hopefully, great answer. Preetham, let us know in the chat if this was enough or you want Todd to elaborate further.
Yeah, and that video that Anders is watching now is a great overview as well of some of the use cases that that people have built and use with PixieBrix.
So, and I think I will jump to the next question, Todd. I will study and you will answer those. So in RPA terms, can you tell us more about PixieBrix? So how can we use it with RPA? I think a lot of us are RPA developers here. Of course, not everyone. And this session is for both non-RPA developers and RPA developers.
Yeah, absolutely. So in terms of RPA, PixieBrix itself can actually do basic browser automation. So we can do things like opening up a tab, clicking buttons, doing form fill, as well as some other kind of native browser automation. So in some ways, PixieBrix is actually a great RPA tool for lightweight RPA that deploys directly in the browser, which there's some advantages to that as well, because in some environments, maybe Chromebooks or other things, it might not be possible to use UiPath, Power Automate, Automation Anywhere. So that's the first part of the answer. But then where PixieBrix really becomes powerful if you already know RPA is that because we have the ability to make changes to any website, PixieBrix is a fantastic way to bring your RPA triggers and also results onto any website. And so, for example, let's say you have a bot that is related to customer accounts or other things, right? You could actually overlay those bots into Salesforce, or maybe you could overlay them into ServiceNow, and add those triggers, add those things to either If we think about some of the integration points that we have, you can send things over to a UiPath queue. You can run a bot directly. You can actually embed a UiPath app onto any page. And kind of same on the Automation Anywhere side, you can embed ARI onto any page. You can send off ARI requests. You can run bots directly or kind of queue them up. So it's a really great way to bring RPA directly onto any page.
Cool. Yeah, and if I can add to that, I presented at a UiPath conference for some Danish public entities where I showed how PixieBrix could web scrape some data and then send it off to an orchestrator queue and then run the rest of the robot from there. And that was also a great use case, which a lot of people were surprised about, that this was actually possible. I could just add a button to any web page that could scrape the data and then, yeah, send it to an orchestrator, UiPath orchestrator queue. So the next question, Todd, maybe you can elaborate on this. Anyone else having issues with the Firefox extension?
Yeah, sadly, we actually don't officially support Firefox anymore. So for a while there was, and then as we started adding more features onto the product, it was just kind of too much work to keep up the Firefox support, just because there are some slight differences in how the browsers are built between Chrome and Firefox. And so today we don't officially support Firefox. Happy if you come to the community, we can kind of try to troubleshoot some things, but it's not something that we officially support today.
Cool. Thanks for the answer. And Nuno Diaz says, no doubt. I'm not sure what this was an answer to, but it looks like he's satisfied as well with your answers, Todd. So I will continue. I've been seeing some videos about the whole overview of the platform, I would say. I also took some notes. I like when I studied just to take some notes. And I know that I'm renaming some of your components here, but this is just for me to better understand it, coming from an RPA world. So a blueprint would translate to a flow in my world, and a brick is like an action or an activity. And yeah, that's what I like to do, and also have this this bullet format for the exam. I can use it there. Maybe some of the things will show up. And Hussein adds to the question, which browsers do you support?
So today we officially support the Google Chrome browser. I think next on our roadmap will be Microsoft Edge, just because that's used in a lot of businesses. And it's also similar to the Chrome browser, but that's one, again, where we have partial support for it. We don't have official support for it.
So from a development standpoint, is that a big task to kick off, improving it to the Edge as well?
No, Edge will be pretty simple. It's mostly just QA, right? It just takes a while to make sure that, because we have such a breadth of features, we just want to make sure that everything is actually working before we say it's officially supported for enterprise and for business. And so typically when people install and start using things on Edge, like 95% of things will work, and then they'll hit up against some things and get confused. And so we say that we don't officially support it. And so definitely, if you are interested in support, let us know in the community, because that helps us drive our prioritization decisions around supporting Edge and those other browsers.
Cool. And this was Todd's meme where he awarded the PixieBrix Professional Certification to himself. I will give it a. And here, this is the Slack where I posted a comment, and you can see, yeah, Todd, Shana, Brian, they joined here, and 3 others as well. So this is a place to hang out. Slack is like, it's like Teams, isn't it, Todd, or Discord, or whatever you are used to using? Maybe.
Yeah, I think it's closer to. I'm actually not a big Discord user, but definitely very similar to Teams. And we even use PixieBrix to send information from different sites that we use over to our Slacks, and I know that folks use that for MS Teams as well, to take information or things that they're finding and send things off to their collaboration tools.
Yeah. Cool. And soon I will have the first checkpoint quiz. I'm already 20% in my certification track. And to you out there, how far are you? Are you further ahead or further behind? It's not a competition, so we will each study in our own page today. This is the first study block. We'll have 9 more minutes of studying. And then my next step is a checkpoint quiz. It will be fun to see if I'm able to answer that question. Is it hard, Todd? Not for you, maybe, but
Oh, the checkpoint quiz.
yeah.
The checkpoint quizzes are just one question quizzes, just to kind of check the main point of the last thing that you viewed.
Do I need to answer them correctly to proceed?
You do, but you'll have multiple tries, and so it's really about just making sure that you got the main point of the last contact. We're not trying to kind of kick anyone out of the program.
Oh, great. So what are possible use cases with PixieBrix? And without reading all the answers, I would think that coming from a game theory world, I would think that I have to choose like 3 or 4 answers here, because that's usually how you want to design a quiz, but that's just my game theory. So sending text directly to a Trello board from any web page, I definitely saw that in one of the videos. Report bugs directly to Jira. I think that you can do that as well. What is Jira, by the way, Todd?
It's you're probably lucky that you don't know what it is. It's a very popular project management tool made by Atlassian, and so it's similar to like I think other tools out there like GitHub Issues, ClickUp, Asana. A lot of those just task tracker tools for different companies.
Cool. The last answer here, I'm a little bit unsure about. That is to hide buttons on a page, like change the UX of a page. So maybe certain users shouldn't be able to hit some buttons. I actually had another product called WalkMe early on in a company I worked in. This was highly expensive, and we could definitely use the program like PixieBrix. If this is the right answer, if PixieBrix is not able to do that, we could have not used PixieBrix. But I think I'll go with that one too, following my intuition that 4 of them should be right. And maybe you can, after I answer the hooray. So can you actually hide buttons on a web page? So like say that I only want my users to take certain actions, and then I can hide a button. How hard is it to create a thing like that?
Yeah, it's quite easy. You can actually choose between, so there's a hide element brick, and you can either choose to hide the element and it'll actually still be on the page but just not visible, or you can choose to remove the element entirely from the page. And that was actually one area that we're surprised by, where there's actually people hiding a lot of things, and we were expecting people to always add things to pages, but it actually turns out to be quite valuable, especially in a business setting, to hide a lot of the irrelevant stuff, because that also helps from a training perspective and compliance perspective.
I think what we used to do in my company was that we wanted to make sure that the user had, it was a third-party site, so we want to make sure that the user had actually filled in some required fields, or required fields that we required, and then we hid the submit button until, or we faded it out or whatever, until the user has actually filled these things in.
Yep.
So
yeah, and we see people do that as well, and sometimes we actually see people hide like a normal button on the page and then add a PixieBrix button to the page that does a different action. So it's sort of the same form, but then they're switching what the action is.
Cool. And now what I opened here in the background was that I should register with PixieBrix. I need a Google or a Microsoft account. A Google account is free, I know that, so you can just sign up for a Gmail and then use that one here. Or do you have a better tip than that, Todd?
No, that's a great one. I think Microsoft also offers free accounts as well. I think off their Hotmail service or any of their other email services.
Cool. I already did that because I played a little bit around with PixieBrix, but here's how to set it up. It's just to click here literally, and then you will be guided through. It also says that I said that I shouldn't click the quick start guide link and the button, so I will not do that. And then I should open the Chrome Web Store. And to find the PixieBrix, maybe I can just show that. So when you have installed all of these things, I can find it up here, right? And this is, if I click here, this is the PixieBrix, but and here I can find the quick start guide in the Slack community. And to open up the PixieBrix extension, I can press F12 on my keyboard. I'm on a PC, but or you can press Control-Shift-I, or you can also open PixieBrix by right-clicking anywhere, click Inspect, and then when this developer tools open it up, I can click the PixieBrix and I'm ready to start. It's that easy to get started with PixieBrix. I'm not sure about Mac, Todd. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about that.
Yep, it's actually the same process. I know some of so F12 does work on a Mac as well. I think there is another keyboard shortcut that differs from what the Windows shortcut is. In general, I just right click on the page and click inspect, just because I don't like to remember keyboard shortcuts.
No. So then we should open the page editor, and the page editor was the one that I just opened, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and it's actually followed here. It says Windows Control-Shift-I, or you can actually also press F12. Mac is Command Option J or F12, or you can just right click here, or maybe not here, but anywhere on the web page, right click and then click inspect.
Yep, I think we've disabled the context menu on the learning path, and so I think that's why.
Dr. DevTools, and it says that if we have it, if I open the developer tools here, and it looks like this, then it says that I could dock it to the bottom instead. Why is that? Is it better here than to the right? This developer tools tab?
Yep, the PixieBrix page editor is more wide than it is tall. And so generally you're going to want to dock to the bottom, or also if you're on a small screen, what some folks do is there's actually an undocked mode, and so it'll be in two separate windows. That also works well as well, but you do have to kind of flip back and forth between the window that you're editing, the page that you're editing, and then also the editor. So if your screen is large enough, I definitely suggest just docking to the bottom.
Cool. So now we are creating our first PixieBrix blueprint. Is that right?
Yep.
It takes 2 minutes, and we're going to highlight some things on a web page. And this is the tech news forum site Hacker News. So we want to highlight the word disclosure there. That is, if an answer there has the disclosure in it, then we want to highlight it. This could, of course, highlight everything. Is that right, Todd? It's not just the word disclosure. That is just our case, but we can highlight everything we want on the web page. This is useful on a web page with a lot of text where we want to find certain keywords or things that we're looking for. And we can even see it here that otherwise we have to search for disclosure, but it could be nice if this was highlighted automatically. So we're going to the Hacker News discussion. I just click the link here. That will open up this. Let me open up PixieBrix. So I press F12 and I go in here. And here I can see I already made a little bit of preparation. I'll just be removing those like this. So I have a complete blank PixieBrix instance. I can refresh it here and we can start building. So what it says that open the page editor. I did that. So make sure you are on this site and then open the page editor. Enable PixieBrix on the page. This is not something I've seen. Todd, is that the first time you visit a page, then you need to enable it?
Yep. The first time you visit a page, you'll need to enable PixieBrix. Out of the box, PixieBrix actually doesn't have access to run on any of the pages. So by default, we want to be secure and respect your privacy, right? And so every time you want to use PixieBrix, you opt into it. And even then, we're not collecting any information about the pages you visit. And so, but again, just from a security model, we want to be enterprise friendly. And so out of the box, we don't have permission to any of the sites. You have to opt in to using PixieBrix on the site.
Cool. I'll start building a trigger. So what I do here is that I click add and then a trigger. And here we can see that this is the blueprint over here to the left. And these ones are the bricks. Those ones can compare to action or activities like you might used to. We can click plus here and add new bricks from this extensive library. And over here we have the brick configurator. Was that right, Todd?
Yep. Yeah, the brick configuration panel.
Brick configuration panel. And this is where we configure our brick. And I can see that we have a break now, so we will respect that. So we have a break for 5 minutes, and then we will come back. So what we will do here is that see you in 5 minutes, then we'll start studying for the second block.
Great. Yeah, and we've made some good progress so far. I think we're probably already 25% of the way through.
Yeah. And we still have, this ticker is saying that just ask all the questions you want about PixieBrix or the certification itself, then Todd will try to answer the best he can. And Mike is joining here. Mike is here as well. That is your co-founder of the company, is that right?
Yep. Yeah, and we had actually worked together previously at another startup as well. So it's been a fun journey together.
Nice. I will mute myself, Todd, and I will take a little bit break for 4 minutes, and then I'll be back.
Yeah, see you in a bit.
And we are back studying, and we have some questions, both some general questions, which Todd will take care of, and I will handle the more practical ones. Konstantinos, hello and welcome to the stream. It's really nice to have you here. Will I be able to watch the video certification walkthrough on demand? Definitely. It will be on this link, so you can just, if you're going a little bit slower, you want to see something, you can just rewind the video, or you can watch it tomorrow. And Todd had a great tip. If you think that we talk too slow, then you can just do it like triple speed or something like that. But definitely, it will be available on this one. And Corhan asks just the same. He wants to replay it right after the live stream, or maybe tomorrow. And you can definitely do that. It will be on the same link here, so it's just to bookmark the video. And Todd, I will, and PixieBrix is here as well. Hello, PixieBrix. We are using your nice product here over on the screen, you can see. So Todd, can you read the next question and answer this one here?
Yeah, great. So the question is, how do we use PixieBrix with UiPath and Power Automate? So I'll cover each of those separately. So UiPath, we actually have we're part of their Tech Alliance program. We're also Tech Alliance partners with Automation Anywhere as well. And so for both of those companies, if you look in our marketplace, or you look in the Add Brick modal under the Automate tab, there's actually pre-made bricks that we have for working with UiPath. And so we have pre-made bricks for adding items to UiPath queues, for running bots, either on your orchestrator or running them locally. And then also for embedding the UiPath apps onto any page, since they embed it as an iframe. And so that's on the UiPath side. And actually, because UiPath has an API for their orchestrator, you can actually call into any of the features that UiPath offers in their orchestrator. So for example, if you wanted to fetch what are the current running statuses of your bots and then show them on a page somewhere, we have people using PixieBrix for that. And that's the same story on the Power Automate side. I actually have less experience with Power Automate, but because it has an API, you can make all of those calls around running bots and other things. I think I know we have one team member, Mark, who actually, prior to joining PixieBrix, was both an Automation Anywhere and Power Automate user, and used PixieBrix with Power Automate via the API calls.
And is this the Mark that will join us shortly?
Yep.
Cool. We will ask him when he joins us. So, because I hope that was answer enough for you, and we will ask Mark about how he integrated PixieBrix with Power Automate. Todd already did it, but maybe he can elaborate a bit when he shows up. So I'm building my first PixieBrix blueprint here, and so I had this trigger. This is at page load, and then I say I want it to be named the HN highlighter trigger. That's what it says here in the certification. It also says that I might want to change this size. And is it correctly understood that this size here is where I want this trigger to run at? So right now it will run on all sub pages of this domain here.
Yep. Correct. That's what that star means there. It's sort of a match everything. And so this will run on any URL that starts with the news.ycombinator.com/.
And what is the problem with this? Oh, not a problem, but what it says that I should narrow it down. I should say item and then this star asterisk.
Yep. So it would also run on the home page. It would also run. They have some other sub pages like a jobs page and other things. And so for this particular tutorial, probably wouldn't be a problem. But in general, you want to make sure that your actions and enhancements and automations are only running on the pages that you want them to.
Cool, Todd. So I will do that. Let me see if I need to do something else. When you're done the steps, your brick configuration should look like this. It did. Add and configure the highlight brick. So this was this trigger. This is whenever I'm here, then this blueprint should run. Then I could add the highlight. So to add a new brick, I go over here to the blueprint outline panel. Was that right?
Yep.
I can answer that question, right, if it comes up to the exam. Then I will find a highlight. To add these bricks, you just search for them, and then you can hover your mouse over and you can see that this add. So I want to take the highlight here, so I just click add here. We want to give it a color and all these things, but I'm sure it says here. In the brick configuration panel, we'll now tell the highlight brick which elements to highlight. Click on the entry mode toggle on the elements field and select array elements. What am I can definitely find it here, but what am I actually doing here? So this is the elements, right? And then I'm choosing the array items. What is this for?
Yep. So for every field, different fields can take different kinds of input. And so in this case, what we're doing is we're saying that we want to manually provide what are the elements to highlight. The other options that you saw for entry mode on that field, you could also pass a variable to that field. So maybe you had, coming from another step or another brick in your blueprint, some selectors for which things to highlight. And so that's and this will be covered a little bit later in the certification, what all the different entry field toggles are, entry mode toggles are.
So what I did here was to choose array items, and then next click the blue add item button to add an array item. And I will do that. So that will be this button here. And then I can choose a selector. And to choose a selector, do I need to do something else? I'll just follow the guide here. No, I just need to click the arrow button here next to put PixieBrix in selected mode. And this is just like every other RPA tool or every other tool where they can automatically select like this one from you. And we were going to find a span here of one of the comments. So we will do that. It should be this one, right? And then it says, click the comment to select it and exit out of selection mode. I did that. So this is my selector so far. It looks a little bit, it looks tied to this comment, but we will find out. Therefore, we want to highlight all elements on the page. Yeah, so we created a unique selector, it says. So we will use this selector instead, and that is because we want to say, does this span contains disclosure with an uppercase D? Disclosure, everything in capital letters, or anything in non-capital letters here. So I'll just copy the selector, and I will just paste it in here. Do I need to press anything, or will it just be stored in here now?
It'll just be stored in there, yep.
And then the contains is case sensitive. Therefore, the above selector uses the multiple selector indicated by a comma to match any of the typical spellings of the word disclosure. Makes sense. And want to see a full list of selectors supported by PixieBrix? We are using jQuery, and jQuery is quite powerful. It's much similar to, it's a more advanced way than you create selectors in if you are here from the Power Automate, but it looks a lot like this. Like
and so you can do things like select all the input fields on a page, select by text, select structurally. You can do things with starts with things, contains. So it's quite powerful.
Yeah, but it's not something that we'll have to bother with now. Maybe it's in the next month as a PixieBrix developer where you want to take these steps, or maybe next week. But so we will not touch them now. Next, we'll look around to determine if Hacker News uses any other element tags for showing comments. So we'll add another item, and then we want to look for a div because comments are also tagged by a div. And let us try to do that. So I just need to find the Hacker News, which is here. So to add another one, I'll click Add Item, and then I need to click this arrow here. And here, this is the span. This is the div that we were looking for. So, and here again, we find a quite unique selector that will only work for this comment. We wanted to work on the entire page. So what I do is just that. Is this Mark created this selectors for us, Todd?
It could have been. I'm trying to. I don't know actually originally who wrote this tutorial.
What I do is just Control V it in here. Andrew says, "Hello, Andrew. Nice to have you here. Are you studying with us, or are you just here to support?" So now I have these two, and it's literally just to follow this guide. I don't need to think myself. So we have the brick configuration panel should now look like this. It is. And we can run the trigger and save. So let's try to do that. I can just click save. And to run the trigger, I go over here to the right and run it. And if I scroll down, then it should have highlighted the word disclosure or the whole comment if there was a disclosure. And here we can see we have highlighted the comment, and that is because there's a disclosure. I work at Microsoft, but I have no insider information of this. So our trigger worked, I believe. We created our first PixieBrix blueprint. Kudos to you out there if you did that, and if you've already been here and you're at the second one, great job.
Yeah, awesome. And this is actually a blueprint that I use because I actually frequent that site for my tech news, and so I found it very useful.
Yeah, and there's a video here, and we can also change the background color. We can do that by changing this up here. And let me try that. I have another color code here. You can recognize this one, Todd.
Yeah, that one looks familiar.
It is the PixieBrix purple, but it's not good for this, right?
Yeah, not as readable for the text highlighting.
Yeah. We will do this instead. And let's check the Slack to see what's going on in there. This is the PixieBrix community Slack. There's also a link to that high live stream. We have people joining, and I posted here. We also have people commenting from there. So nice with all the activity in the Slack. We'll close it for now and then move a little bit along. So here, it says join our community again. We will continue. Now I'm at 34%, and Anju is studying with us. That's nice, Anju. How far are you? I'm at 34%, so I'll probably be finished in these 3 hours, hopefully. The page editor guide. And do you have something to add, Todd, or did we build this correctly?
No, that was a great overview of that tutorial. Cool. And if folks are having any issues with the tutorial, definitely reach out in the community Slack or the YouTube.
Yeah, you can just post it here in the comments, or if it's really technical, you can also post it in the Slack. You can join both as well. But we will show the questions here. If you have any comments, do you like bringing in products and people like Todd and PixieBrix here? Let us know in the chat. We'll definitely do more in the future as well. So now I want to opening the page editor. Again, F12. And here we have the blueprints panel, the outline panel, the configuration panel, and the data panel. This could be something for the certification, so I will just take notes. Blueprints panel. These are just notes for myself, but I always like to. This is something that I know I have difficulty in remembering these, so I also configuration and a data panel. These are the 4s that we saw here, right? So this is the blueprints panel. This is the blueprints outline panel. This is the brick configuration panel, and over here we have the data panel. Oh yeah, I could have scrolled a little bit down. Cool. What is a blueprint? And a blueprint is like the entire flow, right? And you call it blueprint at PixieBrix. How did you come up with that name?
Yeah, it's early on with PixieBrix because of brick. We were going with some construction themes. Some of them didn't stick around because it was kind of trying to force the metaphor a little bit, but blueprint is one that we liked.
Yeah, that's good. PixieBrix logo, can I click that? So when I open the PixieBrix extension, I can click the logo over here. That will take me to my extension console. Here you can see that my active blueprints, and I also have some inactive ones here. And I can find the public marketplace, which is also here. Got it. And here I can take, these are blueprints that you already built for me, or who built these?
Yep, they're either built by our team members or our community members, and then actually pretty shortly we'll be opening up publishing in the marketplace to folks who have their PixieBrix Professional Certification. Cool. And so at the end, I think there's actually a question of if you are interested in publishing, we'll reach out as part of that early access to publishing in the marketplace. But there's a lot of great content in here for a lot of the services that you might use, like Twitter, YouTube, news sites, etc.
Cool. And I can see a previous guest of the channel, Brittany Joyner. She was here too. She created one here. And Mike, that might be Mike from this broken cup here. Mike sent me a cup and I accidentally cut his head off. This is a PixieBrix cup, by the way. And yeah, I cut. Sorry, Mike, but you're here.
It's good. It's travel size. Now you can take Mike along with you everywhere.
Yeah. And I don't dare to use, he actually sent me two, but so I have this other PixieBrix cup over here and I don't dare to use it because I might break that one as well and face 14 years of bad luck. So. But let's go back to studying. And you out there, you can just, if you want to mute this, here's some music while just have a study buddy with us here, or you can, yeah, have the sound on. So here we are, action icons, yeah. Available versus unavailable blueprints. So here you can see that I have 10 unavailable and 1 available. What's the difference here, Todd? Maybe I could have read that in documentation, but.
Yep, and that goes back to that discussion on the site pattern. So because you may use PixieBrix on a lot of different sites. So for example, let's say you had some that are relevant to LinkedIn or some other news sites. We don't show those by default when you're on a page, just because they would clutter that up. And so we're trying to show you only the relevant things that would run on this page. But if you click that checkbox, it will show you all of your installed blueprints. So that you can edit any of them regardless of what page that you're on.
Cool. And I could add some confetti, I can see here. So if we were supposed to, we can, this one highlights, but I could add confetti here. Oh, add the brick in the end. And then when I run the trigger, shouldn't there be some confetti here?
Yeah, this particular site, I think is one site that we found where the confetti actually doesn't work for some reason, but on other sites it does. There's something funny going on with the security policy on the site that prevents the confetti one from working.
Okay, I just saw it here, so I thought it was fun to try.
Yeah, that is one of our favorite ones to add. I also like our sound effect brick. I add a lot of sound effects to things.
And how, if I can ask you, Todd, how do you use PixieBrix in your daily life? What do you use it for?
A lot on the personal productivity side as well as for the work side. So on the personal productivity side, I'm a big fan of the Getting Things Done system, the GTD system. And so I use a lot of tools in that ecosystem for like OmniFocus for task tracking and others. And so I use a lot of PixieBrix for sending things over to my task management system or kind of the other kind of data and personal productivity systems that I have. And then on the work side, we use things for like enhancing GitHub. So for example, I actually, this is more of a fun one, but whenever we have like one of the checks that fails as part of when someone submits code and maybe they didn't write some tests, I actually have it play a sad trombone sound whenever I visit that page. This is a reminder of, hey, actually they forgot to add some tests to this case. But sort of on the more productivity focused side of things, we use it quite heavily on the marketing side. So when someone from our team shares on LinkedIn, we can easily share to our Slack saying, hey, I posted this on LinkedIn. Can you reshare it? As well as things like sending kudos to team members, or even things for integrating GitHub with Product Board and some of the other tools that we use. So we definitely like to, I guess some people call it eating your own dog food or drinking your own champagne. We're definitely big fans of that.
And is it a requirement that if you work in PixieBrix, you need to have at least one PixieBrix flow running per day?
We don't check that.
Okay.
But we do run internal hackathons also, just so we can always keep, because the product is continuously evolving, and so we like to run internal hackathons as well as external ones, just to get creative and see what's possible and really push the boundaries of the tool.
Cool. So I'm at my second checkpoint quiz, and I'm around 36% on my way in. Select all applicable methods for opening the page editor. click the PixieBrix extension in the Chrome extension manager. That will not work, and you are allowed when you take these guides just to go ahead and try it, but this one will just open this. So we cannot open the page. Open the developer tools using the Control-Alt-Delete keys and click the PixieBrix tab. I'll not even try that because then I think I close the stream or at least move away. So that one is not working. I can open the Chrome DevTools by right-clicking on the page, selecting Inspect, and select the PixieBrix tab. We did that, and let me just show you how we did it. If I have this one closed, I can just right-click here, Inspect, click the PixieBrix tab. We have the page editor open. And here again, we can also press Control-Shift-I or F12. That actually also work in Windows or in Mac, Command-Option-J or F12. We'll click Confirm. So we passed this one here. Click Next, and we'll click Continue. So now we are building a translate where we will right-click and then translate a language. And here we will build an extension to this page. We can watch the video or take a full step-by-step tutorial. I think I'll take the full step-by-step tutorial, but if you want to watch this video, you can definitely do that or do both. Who is this, by the way, Todd?
That's going to be Mike Morandi, the other co-founder of PixieBrix.
Hello, Mike. I couldn't. It looks like a younger Mike. Is that right?
That's him. I think that's the maybe the lighting.
Yeah. So we will build.
Or at least I think he recorded that at least 6 months ago. So maybe that's 6 months ago, Mike.
Yeah. And I hope you all study with us there. We have 4 minutes left of this blog, but we'll start by navigating to La Repubblica. And this is the page here, and I'm not really sure which one of these I should press. Maybe just accept it. So this is some of the words or sentences that I want to translate. Carsten Warholm, Oro, Record del Mondo, some Italian thing. I want to translate that to English, and I want to do it with PixieBrix. That will be like do this and then right-click, and then I should be able to see something where I could click Translate here. Right now it's nothing, but we will build that. So I'll open the page editor. That will be F12 or right-click Inspect, and I'll move to PixieBrix. So this is where I want to create it. We want to grant access to the page if it prompts you, sure. And then we want to add a context menu. So a context menu will be added up here by clicking Add, then a context menu. And a context menu, I can give a name. And here I will call it, maybe we have a naming convention we should use here. In the brick, change the name to Quick Start Guide. Cool.
And you can give it whatever name you want. I think this tutorial was originally in our Quick Start Guide.
Yeah, so we have the Quick Start Guide over here. And then we also want to say, we want to give it a name. So right now, if I save it and right-click here, you can see it says context menu item. But it would be nice if it said something like translate or something. So that I believe that's what we are about to do here. And then we want to say translate and then %s. What is this, Todd?
Yep. So the translate will be the fixed part. So when you right-click, it will say translate. And then if you want a preview of what the selected text is, you can do %s. If you don't remember the %s, you can just click that selected text up there. And what it will do is it will insert the that %s at the placeholder. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, because I can never remember what it is. Yeah.
I just do this. And this works now. So if I say that I want to, let's take everything, I can right-click, and now you can see I can translate, and then we have the whole sentence like Carsten Warholm over a record, blah, blah, blah. So we added this one in here because we selected the text. And similarly, if I just want to translate Del Mondo, I'll have the translate and then Del Mondo. This is, it seems kind of easy to use, but let's see if we add something else. Configure the caption. No, that is different from that. Yeah. So to test your configuration, we saw that this one worked, and we can scroll a little bit down. In the sites field, click all URLs. This tells PixieBrix to show the context menu item from any web page that you want. So so we have this La Repubblica, and then we want to click all URLs, and then we also have this. What is this, Todd, in your words?
Yep. So we talked before about using that asterisk as being a placeholder that matches anything. And so what that pattern does is it says it works on any URL scheme, any domain, and any path for that URL. So it ends up matching all sites that you're on. And so once we add this, this context menu will end up showing up on any page or any new site, any or even SaaS application that you use, and not just this Republica site.
So I'm building a translator for every web page. Is that right?
Yep.
And if I only wanted to have it one place, I will just delete this. But we will do as the guide says. Then we want to scroll down to the advanced configuration here. And here again, we click all URLs and we have it here as well. Should we remove something? No. Yeah.
You can remove the Republic one if you want to.
It's redundant, or
yeah, it's redundant since the other one matches everything.
Yeah, we will do that. Cool. It looks like this. I think ours. Nice job. And then we can add the Google Translate API integration. Is this hard, Todd? Whenever I see this, add a Google API integration, my head explodes. But how easy is this from a 1 to 10? Where 1 is easy and 10.
It should be a 1 or a 2, I think, for easy side, because this is one where there's a pre-made brick for it.
Oh, you already had this. And let's see how we translate it. So we're using the Rapid API. I think that was default, right? Yeah, we can see it here. We can, it's built in. So you configured this for us. We don't have to do anything, right?
Yep. Yeah, we have a number of APIs that are built into the platform. And then you can also bring your own API account if you want to.
Is this, do we have to pay for this?
Nope. The ones that are built in, we provide for free. So Translate's one of them. There's also some other provider as well. Even OpenAPI, I think our GPT-3 we actually provide as well.
Cool. On here, we need some input from this, and that should be this query up here. We should have some input because then we can use the API, and we get the input for this brick from the output up here in the context text menu. And if I click here and then I go over to the preview pane, click this arrow here, and then I should be able to find something called. Do I need to run it again? Maybe I just need to do this.
Once you have that selected, you can also, if you scroll up, there will be a button to refresh the preview. You see that?
Oh, yeah. So I select this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you should see that down there, I believe.
I should find the selected text. So here we can see that this is this text that I selected, the selection text. And what I do here to use this is an output from this brick, is just to click this copy here. I go down here and then just Control V it in here. And will this work, Todd?
Yep.
You can just click here. It appears. So then we're populating this. We've clicked the input. We already did that selection text. And it looks like this. And we use the add to tell PixieBrix that this is a variable, and this is a variable that comes up from the context menu. Configure the target language. That is English. That should be correct. And then it will also detect the source, which will be Italian here, but I'm sure it works with a lot of languages. So test it, highlight any text, and then click the PixieBrix context. The data panel will refresh. Let's try it. So I'll just click save here. Now I will take let's do this. And I'll right click and then I'll click translate. And over here, we should see world in the 400 hurdles. And if I take the whole sentence, it's here. Then I will right click, translate. And over here, Carsten Warholm, gold and world record holder in the 400 meter hurdles. And we will have a 5-minute break. So we will see each other in 5 minutes. Take a break out there,
Yep.
and then we will.
That's a great pausing point as well. So good timing on that.
Yeah, and a break for 5 minutes. I'll mute the two of us, Todd. Welcome back, Todd. And I'll start the study timer here. We'll study for 25 minutes. And again, ask all the questions to Todd you want to chat. He's here to help us, which is an extreme resource we have here as help.
Yeah,
Or
happy to be here.
maybe you just muted us because you wanted to study. That's also okay. Then you won't be able to hear what I'm saying here. And Todd, you all also helped an issue on Slack, which is another PixieBrix go-to place. I will check in on that later on. But now I will continue my path here. And if you are ahead or behind, cool to study with you. It's not a competition. We will finish the certification in our own pace today. Now we want to, I did the translation. We saw that worked. Now I probably want to display it. Do you think I can add confetti now, Todd?
Yeah, this one I think confetti should work on. So definitely we'll give it a try.
Yeah. So we will add a brick and then show a window alert. And here I want to add a brick, window alert. Yeah. And this needs to have a message, and I will use the output of the translate. So I go over here and then take the translated text, I believe. Or if it looks like this, just copy it from here. And I'll go into the window alert, and I think I need to change this to a variable and do this.
And you can also just paste it in and we'll automatically switch to variable.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Todd. So now I want to, let's see if this works. Then I will start adding the confetti afterwards. So what we wanted to do was to see that we could mark something, right click, translate. And here up here says Carsten Warholm gold at world record in the 400-meter hurdles. Then we can start to add some confetti.
Yeah, and I really like the way that you're building this one of just incrementally kind of running it at each step. I think that's the best way to use PixieBrix because you can get instant feedback on what's working as well as what data is getting passed through.
Cool. Do we have something else that is just as fun as confetti? Maybe we
can the sound effect one is good, but I don't know if it'll come across on your.
No, maybe I will get it in here, but I don't think we will have it here. So which one can you recommend? The sad trombone, and maybe a success.
Yeah, more of a successful one I think is good.
Yeah, I'll just pick the.
Hopefully, it's not too loud on your headphones.
Oh, it was here. Carsten Warholm overrode the record. This works. So we built this and we saved it. This was a little bit, but sometimes it's nice just to see some of the additional bricks. And so we save it, and we also tested it. A drum roll. Yeah. 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 Now we need to read something. And I am 40% in. What are some, Todd, if you should recommend that, jQuery is obviously nice to know when you're a PixieBrix developer. What else could we study, like apart from PixieBrix itself? Of course, this certification will help us. But what should I else try to get good at?
Yep, kind of the complementary things that people find useful, especially in a business setting. So if you're doing any text extraction or parsing, regular expressions are a great thing to know as well, because once you extract data with PixieBrix, you may want to parse out parts of that data. And then to become a real PixieBrix power user, there is a tool called JQ that's for transforming data and doing kind of arbitrary data transformations. That one is, we definitely have some examples of things that you can try in the marketplace and some documentation there. But if you're doing like really heavy data transformations, that's going to be the tool to know. And in general, when we built PixieBrix, we tried to use technologies that are going to be useful outside of PixieBrix as well. So when we think about selectors, that's also useful in RPA. Regular expressions useful in scripting, RPA. And then same with JQ as well. That's actually available from your command line or other places. And even some tools. I was actually using Hugin the other day. and they have a JQ activity as well. And so we're really trying to use common tools that are going to be useful in all your other work as well.
Cool. Taking some notes here.
And so these text templates here probably will look familiar for folks who have used either like mail merge tools or like marketing automation tools. It's just really a way to place placeholders, but then also there's ways to put logic into those templates. And so we use kind of on the theme of using technologies that are going to help you in other places. This is going to be the same format that you would use if you're scripting in Python or if you're scripting in Ruby. As well as a lot of the other tools out there will use the same text templating approach that we do.
How many programming languages do you speak, Todd, by the way?
Now all of them are spoken by Google GitHub Copilot. So I don't know if I even speak it anymore, but at PixieBrix, we use TypeScript and Python. So those are my main languages as well.
I actually started learning TypeScript myself, but that's another story. That's because the Excel Online uses TypeScript, so I started to learn that.
Awesome. Yeah, it's really been fun to watch that language evolve over the years. It's a fantastic language.
But I'm not speaking it fluent or anything. I'm just learning the basics, and I thought that was helpful. So we have the equals and the not equals, sure. Comparison and or not. So here true if. Else if.
Yeah, and so the one thing to note there is if you're having those multi-tag kind of conditions or logic, that it uses the bracket and the percent sign instead of what's sometimes called those mustache brackets of the double braces.
And Todd, can you read this question and then answer it afterwards?
Yep. So the question is, should I be on the same browser tab while the bricks are running, or can I jump over to another tab? I think most bricks should be able to run. So some of the bricks, so for example, the window alert one, or if you show a form, actually require user input. But I believe a lot of the bricks should be able to run even if you've already switched over to another tab. And then we also have and basically like any brick that doesn't need to actually modify the page, I think can run in the background. But if it is modifying the page, sometimes Chrome will say like kind of unload the tab a bit. And so you might run into a problem with those.
Cool. I hope that was answer enough. Sassy, please let us know in the chat if you want a further explanation. And Todd, you can maybe you can read this as well and do the
Yep.
answer.
So it looks like it's using Python the backend. Yep. Our API and our admin console backend is written in Python, and we use the Django framework and Django REST framework. So it's been a real delight to work with.
And now I'm 43% in, and then I have another quiz. How do you write a string? PixieBrix is the best low-code platform using the variables below. And here, I believe I should grab the data, and then I want a company name, and it says something in the guide that I should have these ones in quotation marks. I know that. And if we go down here and take a look at the answers, I would say that we will need to say that this is a variable that this data company name. So and then so this will not work because so it's either one of these, and because the company name have a space in between, I would take C, which is in what is this called in English? Square brackets.
Yep.
Yep. I think will be the correct answer. My answer. It was. And we have some, and both the answers you gave, Todd, were great. So Sassy and Aditya says, great, thank you. And we have another question. Best use case to integrate PixieBrix with UiPath or an RPA tool?
Yep. So it kind of depends on if you're talking for individual users or enterprise. So in the contact center space, for example, where people use us with UiPath and Automation Anywhere is they'll collect information during a live call or during a customer conversation, and then they use PixieBrix as a way to send that off to an RPA tool for unattended automation. So it's a great way to move a lot of the work to after the call instead of while the person is on the call. I think in general, we're really great at starting automations and then also showing the results of those automations. And then actually we have a lot of RPA COEs. What they use us for is hitting the orchestrator API to see what the status of their bot runs are. And so if you are using a queue or other ways to save money, you can show PixieBrix as a way to show what are the statuses of those different automations that are running that might be relevant to the page, so that your user isn't just like trying to kick off more and more automations because they haven't seen their automation run yet. And so it's a great way to make it so that people don't have to flip over to the control room or orchestrator in order to control room or orchestrator to see what's going on.
Cool. I hope that was answer to you, Preetham. Otherwise, please let us know in the chat.
And we'll actually be coming out with an Automation Anywhere like joint certification as well, I think in either December or January. So folks who are interested in that'll be a great way to get your hands wet with the joint RPA use cases.
Which feature brick in the marketplace could I use to convert US dollars to Indian rupees? And here I'll actually search for currency. And it says that I should have which featured brick. And here I could toggle between the featured blueprint, a brick, and an integration. And since this is a brick, I'll pick the currency and crypto rates. I was not going to do that. Which featured brick? Shouldn't it be this? Well, let me see.
I think there we're playing fast and loose with the word brick. Sometimes we use the word brick for anything in the PixieBrix ecosystem, but in this case, I think it's referring to that blueprint there as an example.
Yeah, so the currency conversion tutorial. I'll pick that. Great, thank you. Makes sense. And now I will be watching this video with Brittany. She will take us to how we can use PixieBrix blueprints in the flow. And maybe we can check the chat. We have more questions in the chat, Todd. Glad that you are here. First of all, Preetham says, getting there. Haha, thanks. So that's great. And I'm, by the way, 52% in. And then Brian Garcia asks, hello, could PixieBrix work with web pages makes with Java applets?
Probably not. So I think the Java applets are actually like Java applications that are running in the page, embedded in the page. PixieBrix relies on being able to access like the HTML or the document object model of the page. So in those cases, you would be restricted in what you're able to do. I think you would still potentially be able to use context menus with Java applets, but I'm not sure. I haven't tested it.
Cool. Now, while I watch this video here, I hope that was answering enough for you, Brian. How many employees are you in PixieBrix at the moment, Todd?
Yeah, we have 12 full-time folks on our team now, so it's been a fun journey.
Yeah, and you sit all over the world or all over in the US?
Yeah, all over the world. So in the US, we have folks in I'm in Boston, Mike's in New York. We have a couple other people in New York. We have Texas, Minnesota, Kansas, California. And then for our global team for contractors, we have folks in Asia, Africa, Europe. Had someone in Australia for a bit. So it's been fun working across the time zones. And I think we now have users in over 80 countries the last time I checked. So
wow.
Really appreciate everyone dialing into this video. It was fun seeing where everyone was calling in from today.
Yeah, it was all over the world except US. Maybe it's too early over there. They will join and on demand. We have one US viewer at least. Let me know if you are more out there. Todd, you are from the East Coast, right?
Yep.
So it's okay for you. It's like 8 o'clock or 8:25.
Yeah, we're coming up on 7:30 now, so not too
Awesome.
bad.
Oh.
But I know Mark is in the community Slack, and so that's 4 a.m. over there for him.
Oh, in the middle of the
I don't
night.
know if he stayed up late or if he woke up early.
And I think I'm finishing this video here, and then I will move ahead. Now I will try to activate the professional certification after this video. But it seems like a great path because it's quite easy for me to follow these steps. Do you plan to make more certifications for us? I know you just released this, but is this something that you will focus on?
Yep. Yeah. Our plan is to, after we receive feedback on this course, we'll work to improve this course. And then also in December or January, we'll launch a module, a separate certification on using PixieBrix with Automation Anywhere.
And then maybe UiPath will come in the future as well.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. And then we'll probably have some, I would imagine, some deep dive certifications on particular use cases or particular aspects of the tool. But Mark is definitely the best person to ask for those things.
Cool. We will hope that he will join here if he's still awake. Maybe we can.
Let me see if he's online and see if he wants to say hello.
Well, now we are 90 minutes in, and I completed 54%. What do you think? What it will be the usual time for completing this? What do you think?
It really depends on if you've had any exposure to PixieBrix or RPA tools before, because again, a lot of those concepts transfer over. And so we've seen people complete in an hour. We've seen people take a little bit over 3 hours. And so it really depends. And then we've also linked out to some additional tutorials for practice.
So here I can add the cert to link. So I click the link.
You might have to give it another try since it asked you to log in since you weren't already logged in. Give that. There we go.
And what is this doing?
Yep, so that's activating a blueprint from our marketplace. This particular blueprint, after you pass the exam, this is a way to add the certification with one click to LinkedIn. So you don't have to kind of copy and paste information over.
But I would like to add a quote.
So this is actually not sharing it. It's LinkedIn has
just
the credential. Yeah, it's just adding the credential as opposed to doing a social media post on LinkedIn.
Yeah, and then I could share it on the feed by doing it manually afterwards. Cool. So now, create copies of blueprints. Use the 3 dots next to the blueprint. Select make a copy.
Yep. So one of the quickest ways to get up and running with PixieBrix is, instead of starting from scratch on things, is to activate blueprints from the marketplace and then just create your own copy from there.
You now have a copy. Yep. That's it. Now I am 60% in, and we are still having 5 more minutes of this block. So here I will be having extension console, blueprints, integration, workshop, and yep. So to open it, I think we already did it, but let's do it again. We can click here. This will open up the extension console. That was where we were before with this blueprint here. Then from the scroll, this is just another way to open it. And open.
Yep, we try to make it easy to jump there from wherever you happen to be at.
Yeah, and then to watch our active blueprints, let me just, we're here, then we could, that was what we did here, we toggled between all blueprints and active blueprints. And then I will, it will be fun to see how many, if I will pass this professional certification exam. I definitely took some of the lessons quite quick, just to make it a good stream, but hopefully I will pass. How many wrong answers can I have, Todd, before and still pass?
I think you can have 7 wrong answers, so I think you need 18 out of the 25 to pass.
And are they as difficult as the checkpoint quizzes, you'll say?
I think they're about the same difficulty. There's definitely a couple that we've thrown in that potential, and not everyone gets the same questions. There's a couple in there that you might have to go back and reference the documentation for if you're moving quickly.
Yeah. How can you publish a brick to the marketplace? Click share on the blueprint, select marketplace as the team, and then click save and close. Click share on the blueprint, toggle on, well, maybe it's...
So that will actually be from the extension console is
yeah,
what you'll share. Yep.
So if I wanted to share my quick start guide here, I can click share. And what was the question? So I clicked share on the blueprint, select marketplace as team.
Yep. So this one, before you share, actually, it's going to prompt you to give it a unique name and a version number.
Yeah, here.
Yep. So and then if you click save and continue and go to the next screen, that's where you'll see the...
Oh, share with teams, yeah. Hopefully I don't publish this one here too. And then I can add a team and then publish it here. So that will be select marketplace as team. So this is my team, and then I will make it public. I will not do it, but so that one will be click share on the blueprint. I will not. Cool. Now I'm 70% in. It is a good certification, so at least a learning track. So here, integrations. And what are integrations, Todd?
Yep, integrations are how you connect PixieBrix to the other applications that you use or APIs that you might want to use. So for example, in that last tutorial that we did with Google Translate, that's an example of an integration that we have where you can call Google Translate's API from any blueprint that you create with PixieBrix. And so this is also how, if you want to call into UiPath or if you want to call into Automation Anywhere or Power Automate, that you would also set up a configuration for that, right? Because you might have one configuration for your development orchestrator and another configuration for your production orchestrator, or you may have multiple accounts on different services. So it's just a way to tell PixieBrix how to authenticate with that account and if there's any other configuration options that you have. So for example, our Airtable integration, it's providing your API key as well as which Airtable database to connect to.
I think it was roughly the same when I configured the UiPath. I should provide some keys and folder IDs and these things, and then I could click save, and then I could use the UiPath bricks directly in the PixieBrix.
Yep.
Cool. And here we have the local integrations. You can see those. So here, here I was in the admin console. That was here. Yeah, you can see I have it. So those ones were the local ones. I had the UiPath Cloud Orchestrator, and I have it Teams webhook. What's the difference between these integrations here in the extension console and then the cloud extensions in the admin console?
Yep. In the extension console, all of this is going to be local to your device. And so all of the information that you're putting here for your account, that's just stored on this browser profile. And the communication goes directly between your browser and the service. The cloud integrations is for if you're using a team setting, or if you want to set something up for yourself because you use multiple browser profiles and you don't want to have to configure the integration on each one. It's a way to set up an integration in the cloud that can be referenced from multiple browsers and shared with your teammates.
Cool. We will start the break, Todd. Thank you for the answer. And I'll mute the two of us. Welcome back to all of you out there. Welcome back, Todd, and welcome, Mark.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Anders. Good to see you
Mark,
again.
you're the mastermind behind this certification track, or Todd said that you created a lot of it.
Yeah, we've been working on this path for a while now, and so we're excited to do the big release. We're grateful to everyone in the community who helped us do some of the early testing. So excited to see how everyone does here.
We have a question from Willie, and maybe it's still early from you. As I understand, it's 4 o'clock in the night, but so you can decide which one of you that will answer this question. I know you, Todd, told us that you worked with Power Automate and PixieBrix together. Is that right?
Yeah. So at my previous work, we were exploring some of the different RPA platforms, and so we did a good dive on how we could use Power Automate Desktop as well as some of the cloud flows.
Cool.
And so it looks like Billy here is asking about starting a Power Automate Desktop flow from PixieBrix, and you actually can do this. So what you'll need is a Power Automate, or I don't know what they're calling it now, Microsoft Flow, Cloud Flow, which has an HTTP trigger, and so that allows PixieBrix to call into the flow. So that's the PixieBrix to Microsoft integration, and then from your Cloud Flow, you can trigger any of your desktop flows depending on your setup, whether it's personal or enterprise.
I actually just made a video about that, so I will find out, and then you can just how you can trigger Power Automate Cloud Flows with an HTTP request. That is, I think I made it like a week or two ago. So, and then you can do an HTTP request from PixieBrix as a brick. Is that right?
Yeah, definitely, and I think that's a good question to bring up, as that might be on one of the checkpoint quizzes or exams. But yes, there's an HTTP request brick, which you can go ahead and create any of those API requests.
Yeah. And then you can put the endpoint in here. And then Todd is saying something.
Yeah, I was going to say that's actually a really common pattern with any other automation platform. So I was even using Node-RED or Hugin or any of those other open source tools. It's if you can set up an HTTP trigger on any of those, you can use PixieBrix to trigger those events. And we also even have Zapier support built into PixieBrix as well.
Yeah, that one is per default right here, or just I don't think I added the Zapier integration to PixieBrix.
Yeah, Zapier is a funny one because it kind of works in reverse. And so we have a built-in one. So you have your unique PixieBrix key that then you're going to paste into Zapier, as opposed to the opposite way around.
Cool. And Todd also told us, Mark, that you used PixieBrix a lot with Automation Anywhere in your previous job. What kind of cool things have you built there?
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, I had been using Automation Anywhere all the way from V11 onto A2019 and then A360. So it's definitely changed a lot. And through that, more recently in my last company, we were using PixieBrix to actually deploy bots down from different SaaS applications. So we had some from Workday, we had a couple from some of our internal portals, and we would deploy Automation Anywhere bots to scrape data and bring information back into the sidebar. And we were actually using the workload management system as well. So a good set of architecture there.
And I think at one point you had mentioned that you were using PixieBrix as a way to pre-validate data before it got sent off to an unintended bot. I don't know if you could expand on that a bit.
Yeah, and that's a great use case with the workload management system. So especially with device pools and resources being limited in some of your automations, what we were finding as a pain point is that a lot of people would fill out an initial form and then send that data off to the workload management system or the queue. And that the bot might only pick up that queue item 30 to 40 minutes later, depending on how long the bot runs were for the previous queue items. And so if there was anything wrong with the initial information, whether it's the URL or maybe an employee E-code ID that we were passing in, the user would only get feedback on that 30 to 40 minutes later, and you'd have to redo do and basically re-add your queue item to the queue and wait again to see if that was validated. And so one of the big things with PixieBrix we did is very simply you can do form validation on the front end. And so when there was maybe an employee code that didn't exist, or the URL we saw wasn't correctly formatted, we could tell the user in real time before having them submit bad data off to the queue.
So a little bit about what we talked about earlier, Todd, where we could hide buttons and these things. We could customize the front end for the user before we pass the data. That's great. But Mark, I have to ask you, is that why you got a job here at PixieBrix? Is that because you became really good at it at your previous job?
Yeah, I think we were just scratching the surface really when I was at my previous work. But yeah, I met Mike and Todd. I was actually in Boston previously, and so I got to meet Todd in person, and then Mike, I think, when he was visiting family. So that was great to connect with them. And yeah, the platform and the technology is amazing. So it's only evolved since then.
Cool. How is it to work? You work alone at the West Coast, or do you have colleagues sitting next to you?
Yeah, so I just moved to California about a few months ago, and there's another team member who's also in California, a little bit of a drive away. But yeah, personally, right now I'm working remote from my apartment. It's nice because no one else is up right now in the building, so it's floor 45.
Yeah, and then we all get to be jealous because Mark and the other Misha out in California are near the beach. So we just get to be jealous from the cold East Coast.
Yeah. Do you share them
Exactly.
as background in the Teams meetings, or?
It's nice. I leave the door open sometimes when it's good weather, and you can see some of the other people, sweaters and jackets.
Actually, I sit in the basement and it's freezing here in Denmark, probably the same at your place, Todd. It's getting quite cold here. Well, I reached another checkpoint quiz. Mark, I'm already 81% in your quiz. Oh, this one is a super. Which of the following are team member roles in PixieBrix? Admin, restricted, super admin, not collaborator, maybe not. Could it be a member? I will flip a coin on this, but I think it is a member. Yep. Create a group. And if you have anything to add, if I'm doing something wrong here, just interrupt me, and just trying to add some groups. And
yeah, no, that looks great. And if you have a lot of group members, definitely the either the upload tool works great, or also we actually have a developer API as well that you can call to modify group members.
Cool. And Mark, Todd also revealed that you are planning to do a PixieBrix certification based on Automation Anywhere.
Yeah, we're really excited about the certification programs. Just as a stat here, I think we've had over 100 people sign up for the certification and are currently doing it live with us. So that's great to see. Yeah, coming down the pipeline, we're looking at a Automation Anywhere module, potentially with some of our integrations that we have, such as running a bot directly from PixieBrix, creating ARIA requests, and getting information back from the control room.
Cool. Will this also be free?
Yes, definitely.
Cool. Thank you. And to all of you out there, if you have any questions, I know you study, but if you have any questions, let's just take advantage of. We have two PixieBrix experts with us here today, so they might be able to help us here. So here, I think I'm in the last part of this certification track, at least.
Yeah, getting closer.
And some of the I skipped some, not skipped, but I took some of the places quite lightly because I talked to you, Todd. But hopefully we'll be able to.
Yeah, and I'll just call out that team databases are one area that we're seeing a lot of interest because what team databases are is they're a way to store information across different runs of your blueprint as well as across team members. And because of that, they're a great way to store things that you might want later. So for example, if you're building an extension to annotate pages and add comments to pages, or if you want to send telemetry, so if you want to keep track of like all the sites that you visit, or if you want to remember things for later, or even have like social bookmarks with other members of your team, team databases are a way to enable all of that because it's a way to share information across different runs of the blueprint and across team members. And this one here on automatic blueprint deployments applies more to our business plans where once you create something and you share it with your team members can grab it and activate it themselves. Automatic blueprints are a way to automatically deploy different actions and enhancements out to your team members. And so when you deploy PixieBrix in an enterprise environment, and let's say you have 100 people on a team, that's the most efficient way to make sure that everyone has access to the actions and the enhancements for the pages that they should be using.
Cool. Now I'll go into the box and try to answer most of these questions in the best way I can. And maybe I can live comment them. PixieBrix allowed me to do that because there's a large question bank, so I won't ruin certification or anything. So here, how do we reference the data property of the output variable object? So what I need to do is that I want to grab this data property. This is an example, and I would do that by saying I want the add output then dot data. This has to be the way to do it. That was 1 out of 25.
Yeah, only 24 to go. Good start.
Where can I edit the YAML file of any blueprints which I have edit access to? Extension console, integrations, workshop screen. I'm not sure I even saw that. Or the page editor. Well, this one I think. Well, this.
Yeah, so this one's going to be a little bit harder just because it's actually most of the content for it on doing text-based editing of blueprints is not covered by this certification. So this question is just asking, though, if you were to do that, which part of the PixieBrix tool would you use?
And what did it ask? So if I wanted to edit it here, it doesn't look like I can do it here. So then it will have to be in the integration screen or the workshop screen, and to get there. Probably not in the integration. Then it is that workshop screen here. Yes.
And so actually, if you click into one of those, you can actually see what's happening.
Oh, that's nice. So that's the code behind it.
Yep. Yeah. When you use the page editor, all it's doing is generating these YAML configuration files. You can actually edit this directly if you want to, and there's some advanced use cases where that's helpful. And this is also a way on that history tab, you can actually see if you had multiple different versions of this one, you could see how this blueprint evolved over time.
So as 2. PixieBrix can work across multiple tabs for multiple page automation. Yeah. Sure it can. What is the name of panel 2 in the page editor below? Oh, Todd. That is the blueprints outline panel. I knew I'm so bad in remembering these things, so I take notes and this is to be. And maybe we can just repeat it. So this is the blueprints panel where we have all the blueprints. This is, I can tell by when it says here, this is the blueprint outline panel. Here we configured the bricks. So if I click here, then it will configure this brick, and if I click the window alert, it will configure that brick. And then we have the data panel over here, which you mainly use for inspecting output data. Is that true?
Yep, it's a great way to see the output data, and then you can also see what are the inputs available to that brick as well on the context tab.
Cool. We'll click confirm. What is the path for the first name variable shown below? So here I want to go into results, then a user, and then it was like, I think we had a checkpoint quiz where we had to make it in square brackets and quotation marks. So this will be it. It's nice to have great notes here.
Yeah, you're getting lucky with some of the question selection draw. Yeah.
Please have me randomly pick these two as well then.
To look to see if Anders is cheating on which questions he's getting.
Yeah. Where can I reactivate a blueprint? That has to be in the extension console, I believe, because let me just go here. So these are my active blueprints, and these are all. And here I can reactivate these things here. So if I click this, this is activated. So that was in the extension console.
And also, even if you have the blueprint already activated and maybe you want to switch which integration you're using, or you want to switch one of the options that you pass to it, if you, from that active blueprint screen, if you click the 3 dots next to it, there will be a reactivate button as well. Should be, if you click on the active under category filters on the left, if you switch that over to, or let's say if you click on the quick start guide, for example.
I just need, it's here, yeah.
Yeah, and if you click the 3 dots, yeah, you'll see a reactivate. And so if the blueprint had any options or an integration, you could swap out which account that you're using.
Yeah. Cool. You want to ignore an error code when calling an API. Which brick will help us with this? And maybe, so when it even asks us for bricks, I think I would just go see to test the bricks myself. So, and maybe what happened here? Out here. Then I could inspect the brick. I can have the, first of all, I will, when taking subject quiz, I'll just see, we can retry brick on arrow. We can have a try except. Is that a brick called that?
Yep, and these bricks we call control flow bricks. And if you scroll down on the left-hand side there, where it says all categories, towards the bottom we have the control flow, and you can see that we have try except, retry. You can embed your own custom events as well as loop over elements.
Cool. Let's see what the question is. You want to ignore an error code when calling an API. So this one would have to be the try except, where we run a brick and then recover on an error. Or do we want to retry? I think I want to pick the try except. Maybe that was correct. Can you maybe, if you're allowed to do that, can you tell us the difference between a try except and a retry?
Sure, Mark, did you want to take this one?
Yeah, sure. So especially on the try except, we're going to have 2 sections, and you can actually click in and add this.
Oh, I need to click add. Yeah.
And so if you scroll down on the second panel, that blueprints
So here?
The brick actions panel, the
Oh, yeah.
second one, yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
And so there's two sections there. And so the try block is where you can add a block of bricks that we want to watch, such as API calls that might fail or actions that might fail. A lot of times we see that with simulating DOM events. And so you can have every brick that you want to try in that first section. And this except is basically like your try catch structure in other programming languages, where on except we can handle the error. The other brick we have is the retry brick, which you might have an API which is throttled or has different limitations like that. And so you can go ahead and actually set the interval that you'd like to retry these actions. And so we see that a lot with API rate limitations. Yeah, exactly. So you can set how many times you want to run that and what are the intervals.
Cool. And I'm live taking this certification. I won't be finishing in this block, but we'll come back. And maybe I can just, again, advertise for the PixieBrix community Slack. And we actually wrote to you, Mark, and luckily you saw it. And this is where you want to join if you want to network with a lot of other PixieBrix developers, and even you, the product experts. You are actually present in here. You're answering questions. You can see here, it's not just because it's today, but Todd actually, oh, this was Mark. This was you, Mark, that answered questions in here, and I thought it was Todd. And Todd also did it, but so this is not just because it's today. It's just because you're always active in here. Maybe it's also beneficial for you. You can see you get a lot of product feedback directly sent to you, and people get a lot of help. So this is definitely a place to be. And the link to this community Slack is in the description right below here. And I think you can also find it if you go to PixieBrix.com and scroll all the way down here to the Slack link here. You can also, maybe it's also present somewhere else, but at least you can go here or click the YouTube video description to join it.
And when you sign up, I think also there's one of the emails that we'll send, welcome emails, will also have a link to the Slack community as well.
Cool. And here we are with the question 9. And how do you write a multiple element selector covering specifically these two input elements? And if I remember jQuery, like it's not something that I use a lot. So then the ID, that is the what is the hashtag called in programming language?
I think I just call it a hashtag.
Yeah,
I don't know what the hash sign. Yeah.
Yeah. And that is an ID, and I remember the dot is a class, so it will be this one here. That will be my answer. And again, so the selectors in PixieBrix are created in the jQuery language, and that is a good way, Todd, as we talked about, to learn a little bit jQuery if you want to become a more advanced PixieBrix developer, right?
Yep. And these, this is actually one of a little bit more of a challenging question. Often in PixieBrix, you don't have to write your own selectors. If you're only writing, trying to select one element, we do have that tool that you saw earlier where you point and click, and PixieBrix will come up with some alternatives. We have some logic and heuristics for trying to automatically generate a good selector for you.
Cool. And if I can recommend something, I would definitely recommend the CSS Diner, which is 32 questions that will practice creating these selectors. So this is a page that has been beneficial to me, at least. And we have 1 minute left. I will take one more question. So select all the RPA tools that currently have a formal partnership with PixieBrix. And so you out there, if you have any RPA questions related to PixieBrix, please let us know in the chat. Mark and Todd will answer those. But I know that you have, with UiPath, you went to UiPath Forward this year. Did you, both of you, do that?
Yeah, that was an awesome event.
How was that, Mark?
It was nice to meet a lot of the UiPath MVPs who you see on some of the videos. So that was a great event. Nice.
And I know you also have with Automation Anywhere. The question is, do you have with Blue Prism and Power Automate? I'm sure you really want to, but do you have it yet? I stick with UiPath and Automation Anywhere. Let's see. That will be the
Yep.
last one. And maybe that was correct. We will stop here and then we will elaborate a bit on this when we come back. So I'll mute the both of you and we'll take 5 minutes.
Yeah, see you soon.
Perfect.
Welcome back to the study. Sorry, to the to the study session. I'll start the second. We still have around 45 minutes to go, and maybe you can take a little over here. I got something in the throat.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, of course. We were chatting about the different RPA tools that PixieBrix supports, and Anders was correct that the two formal partnerships that we have are with UiPath and Automation Anywhere. We've been really fortunate to work with both of them and get to know their product teams, as well as Mark was mentioning, getting a chance to meet the MVPs and community members from both. And actually this year we attended both Forward and then also the Automation Anywhere's Imagine conference in New York. So those are our current formal partnerships. And then, as Mark mentioned, you can also call into Microsoft Power Automate, other RPA tools, really any tool that provides either API ways to trigger bots, or also there's some desktop automations. We do also support URL schemes. And so there's some applications that you trigger by using a custom URL scheme. You can also do that with PixieBrix as well. I use that actually quite heavily with certain Mac automation tools.
Cool. And sorry, I just had something. And so you covered the RPA tools, and I promised that this basement just to show you a little bit around. So I will take the second camera here, and then I will.
Oh, we have two Anders now.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we have two, and you can just see. So this is literally the basement here. See all the not so nice things there. And maybe you want to see over here as well. So this is Anders 2, another PixieBrix. And yeah, so this is the basement. I just wanted to show you. Maybe I will disable this camera and take my certification again. So now you saw it. So it's quite dark in here. It's okay to work with because we started the company this year, but hopefully we can get an office like Mark. Mark's pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah, you're looking for a roommate, Mark, or two roommates?
Yeah. Definitely plenty of space.
Oh, what is the one-click way to generate a variable path for the dog owner first name from the output panel? We already did that. That was to click this copy here from dog owner first name. That would be to click here next to Mark. So that will be to click the icon next to first name. Maybe we could just check the other ones. Output data, you can not click there, I believe. Or can you actually click there?
Yep.
And get the whole.
That one will copy the whole object as JSON. So if you want to paste that into another tool to work with or copy things somewhere else.
And I'm not sure if you can click first name, but the answer is definitely to click here. So that would be A. So far, it's 100%. So maybe we will aim for that. Select all the types of triggers you can create with PixieBrix.
This one would also be a good one to hop into the page editor.
Yeah, and then see what we have. So here we have a trigger. We have a lot of them. So we have the page load. That one was one of them. Do we have the interval? Yep.
Yep. And someone was asking earlier on if PixieBrix can run on pages even if they're not active. For that interval trigger, that's an example of one where it actually can run in the background. But again, you can only run kind of attach bricks to it that don't require user interaction. So you could make API calls in the background, but you couldn't show forms or confetti or other things because those Chrome will all queue up until like once you switch back over to the tab. I accidentally once actually attached like a timer to confetti and then like left that tab. When I came back, it was thousands and thousands of confetti going off. So I learned that one the hard way.
Nice. Then these three will be my answers because I couldn't find voice or desktop or in there. Let's see if that is correct. It was. So yeah, it's always nice to, when it asks you about triggers in this, you can always go to take the brick and then find it here in the drop down to check for it. I have a post API call which PixieBrix does not have a native integration for. Which brick can I use to make the API call? That could probably be like in the case Mark described, where we say that we want to upload some data to Power Automate the cloud, the previous flow. And here we could post some data to that, for example, the invoice data or data from the web page, and then we can do some AI on it up there. So that one we saw we could do that with an HTTP request. But again, I would like to go for as many correct answers. So I will definitely go check it. And here we can see we can send a REST HTTP request, and we have the post here. So this will be the answer. Yeah. Is this something that you use a lot as a PixieBrix developer, this API call?
Yeah, I think this one, especially for services that don't have native integrations, this is super easy to set up. And so you can see there's even a separate HTTP GET brick if you have very simple GET API endpoints that you want to grab data from. And so
yeah, is this the same as this one? This is just a more simple way to set it up, or?
Yep.
Yeah, just restricted to the GET endpoints.
Cool. So true or false, you can use only one selector to create multiple buttons. Yeah, that is true.
So this is another advanced question that's not covered in the kind of the details of this aren't covered in the certification. But with the PixieBrix add button, when you place a button, it's going to place it once, but you can actually modify that selector to match multiple different menus on the screen.
Cool. Take the next one. Oh, this is a multiple choice. Oh no. Select all the types of actions and enhancements that can be created with PixieBrix. Let me try to, first I will answer them and then I will check afterwards we can create a button, we saw that. We can also have a sidebar. We didn't see that, but a sidebar is something that shows up in the right of the screen, like in what format is that, HTML or?
Yep. So you can put custom HTML in there, and then we also have a no-code, what we call document builder that you can build interactive panels with. And so you can show information from other data sources. You can add your own custom links. You can also add buttons to trigger actions from that side panel as well. And the side panel can be configured to, just as we saw with the context menus, you can set it to run on any pages you choose. And so it's a nice way to build something that follows you around to the different sites that you're using.
Cool. And a quick bar action. I think we can do that. Let me... Quick bar here. What does that looks like? Can we just...
On Windows, I think, yeah, you can set your keyboard shortcut there.
What should I pick here?
If I want to do Control K or Command K if they don't have other tools that already use that shortcut.
So Control K, you said?
Yeah, you could use Control K on Windows, and then
we'll try. Should I refresh something or anything?
You'll just need to hop over to another page, and then just if you hit Control K, you should see it pop up.
So here?
Yep.
Yeah. So, this is the quick bar. I saw that actually. So I can press Control K, and then now I have my quick bar item in here, which I can configure, and then I can kick off a blueprint by clicking here. Of course, I have nothing in here, but if I wanted to.
And I actually like the quick bar more than the context menu, just because when you have a lot of context menus, sometimes it's hard you have to do those multiple clicks to track there. And so the quick bar I find is a really convenient way if you want to add a lot of actions.
That's cool. So, and here, Control K, that's the shortcut, and then the quick bar item. And what are Control K and all these things? Can I configure these things here? If I say that I only want the admin console and the community, could I keep those?
Not today. Those are just there by default. Probably in the future, we'll let you configure that.
Cool.
But the nice thing is, if you had more, they would show up top, and so you wouldn't see those because they would be kind of below the scroll. And then
Okay, so my
as well.
So my quick bars will show up first, and then
yeah, your content will always show up above our content.
Cool. So and that was a quick bar. We cannot create websites with PixieBrix. The context menu, we saw that was the translation. We cannot do a mobile application, but we can do a trigger. We also created a trigger. So these ones are my answers. Cool. Which are all the official avenues where you can get support from the PixieBrix team? Oh, well, the community Slack, we saw that. Maybe we should show that once more. This is the PixieBrix Slack where we wrote Mike is up here, and we have we also talked to Mark in there, and we saw both of you did you help Ibru solve a problem for her or him. And then we also have some other ones I posted here today that this will be live, but then we also have this one here, the Hangout, where Todd awarded himself with the PixieBrix certification. So, and this is the place to go if you want PixieBrix product help. All the product experts are here. So that one is definitely true. Do you have a community forum? I highly doubt it, but let's check it out. I don't think you have one, because then you did.
Yep.
You also have a community forum. Is this active?
Yeah, and to be honest, most people prefer the Slack, but if you are a person who prefers a more forum environment, we also answer questions as there. We get notifications when you post.
Cool. Then we have the WhatsApp. I doubt it. The Instagram, actually, I tagged you on the Instagram today where I did a PixieBrix picture, but I doubt you do support there. So we will not say that is a support channel. The support PixieBrix.com. I never tried that one. But it says hello PixieBrix.com, but maybe up here we have some support. Support.PixieBrix.com.
Yeah, I think this content is.
Yeah, I think it's on the contact page.
It is here. Yeah, so the support PixieBrix.com. We have it here. So we can also contact you there. Yep. Cool. So it's nice to be a little detective. Why is the extension not showing up on this profile and on all other profiles? We have the LinkedIn come in. So we have a LinkedIn page.
And you might have to zoom into the image a bit.
Yeah, I'm not logged in on LinkedIn, but that is just, oh no. It opened up over in my, maybe I can just jump back. Do I have to retake the certification?
If you hold down the back arrow, you should be able to select the
back arrow.
In the upper left, where the back button in your browser, if you hold that down, you can select, because LinkedIn sort of hijacks the history. And
which one of these should I choose?
Yeah,
this one here.
Let's click that one, and
hopefully it's saved. It is.
Yep.
So why is the extension that showed up here? We need to turn on the debounce toggle. Well, I never heard of that. Oh, we didn't see that. Then we have this asterisk. This was the asterisk we used early on for the first one, I believe, at the item that was the hacker news form. And so this one will only work if we have the linkedin.com and then /in and not anything else. So we definitely need this one here. We need to switch to the trigger to all pages options. No, I don't think so. And we can only choose one answer. Then I will go with this to make it work with MTHEK. Is that you, by the way, Mark?
Yep, little shameless self-promotion there.
So if you want to connect with Mark on LinkedIn, you can find his LinkedIn.
But it's not an official support channel. So.
No. What are reusable configurations that can be stored to authenticate request to API? Well, that could be integrations, I think. It's so reusable configuration. So we did the integration here. I think it's here, but let's find out. It was. And again, can you maybe we also saw there's something called integrations, and we had something called, was it cloud integrations?
Yep. And
Can
so
you?
they're the same idea. It's just a matter of where the information is stored. So integrations that you see in the extension console, that configuration and your credentials are going to be stored locally on your device. Whereas for cloud integrations, they're stored on your PixieBrix account in the cloud so that you can access it from any of your browser profiles. And also you can set it up to be sharing different accounts with your team members.
Cool. So far, so good. Which brick would you use to scrape the text of a page header? Well, again, we could try to find the bricks and see what they actually do. So if I press F12 to enter the PixieBrix page editor, I go in here, and I'll just start to find the bricks and then let's see what they are. Simulate a DOM event. Here, this looks more like a click event, at least here. Header reader. I never saw that, but maybe we have one. Don't even have a header reader, so it's not that one. jQuery selector reader. Extract data with a jQuery selector, or more jQuery selectors. So we'll pick that one. Maybe we can even inspect it here. So the intuition here to this brick is that you will add one or more selectors and then get the data out in the output, and then you can later on use it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
How many teams can an account be a member of? I would think it would be weird if we had to, and maybe I accidentally saying, I think it should be unlimited, but I haven't read it, I will admit, so this will be a complete guess. I will say unlimited. It is.
Yep. Yeah, we've designed teams in PixieBrix to be very lightweight, and so you can join as many teams as you want. So because we recognize also that people use it for personal use as well. So if you have different groups of friends, you can kind of use teams to share stuff that way. Like if you're planning a trip together, and then also on the business side of things as well. You would use teams like if you want a dev account versus a test account versus a production account, you can also use teams as a way to have multiple different environments.
Cool. I'm just checking the time because I'm not sure. So we have 6 minutes left here, and then we are actually approaching. We took some little bit longer blocks because we talked a bit. So we have 30 minutes left, and we will take a break in 6 minutes, and then we'll have the last block, which will be 20 minutes, and we will stay here so everyone can finish this track. And again, we just take it in our own pace. If you want to run a set of bricks and then handle an error which may occur, which brick could help us with this? I think it was the try except, but let us see if it's not the if else. Maybe we have the handle error. You can just search for it and just see if we don't even have a brick for this. So I will go with the try except, which this was the try block, the try catch block, or what equals to try catch in other languages that you talked about, right, Mark?
Yeah, exactly. And I think a big thing with these questions is you're able to go into the page editor like you're doing, and so it's a good way to build familiarity with what bricks we have. And
yeah, it's a good repetition of. It's also a good repetition of what we went through because we can go in and try a lot of the things ourselves. What is the name of pen? Have you seen this, Todd?
Yeah, you're getting lucky with the questions.
Yeah, you're getting really lucky.
I only need the brick configuration panel. I can't. Ooh, this one is a more complicated one. I'll have to spend it. I can't access the data property field in my window alert brick in the extension below. So we can't get it over here. We can't get the data property, and that one should be from up here, right? The data, yeah. And here we have the data property. It looks fine to me. So this is the one we're trying to get, but we're not able to do it. It misses the data. What should I put? What should I put in the message text box to show the text I pulled from jQuery selector reader? So we're not able to get it, but that should be.
And let's take a look at some of the answers. I think this is also going to be a little bit of a trickier one if you sped through the through some of the content.
That setup should work. Retry the extension. That seems like my last resort. So I will make this one out of the way, and then I will go with either of these two. The data property variable can only be accessed in its scope of the try except brick. We have it in a try. So we have it in this try up here, and then we can only have it in the try except output property will output the text from the jQuery selector. So this is saying that we'll have to go into the try and.
Yep. So what's different a little bit about PixieBrix than some of the other tools that you may use? So like other scripting languages or programming languages, when you're inside of a conditional block, whether that's the if else, the for each, or the try except, if you have a brick that has an output, those brick outputs are only visible inside of that block that you're currently in. So for example, in this case, the jQuery one is only visible inside of the try branch of it. But the try except brick actually will output whatever the last brick that ran on either of its branches. So for example, if the try part succeeds, it will actually output that, and it's going to get assigned to, and you can see in the screenshot, the at try. The accept branch, if you were setting a value there, that value would actually be output there. And so with the if and else branch and with the try except branch, they actually, those bricks actually return a value, and it's going to be the value of which branch ended up running.
Okay, so we are in. So this one is the one we will have to, because it gets outputted down here to try except. Confirm. Cool. I'll just check the time. So we still have 2 minutes, and the last part will be a little bit shorter than 30 minutes. And hopefully we will pass, and then we can post it on LinkedIn and maybe write something cool in the community Slack as well. Which web browsers does PixieBrix officially support? Choose only one best answer. Oh, we saw that. Chrome, and you talked about that, Todd. You used to support Firefox. You don't do it anymore. You talked about maybe you want to support Edge in the future because a lot of the business users requested that, or maybe can see a case for that.
Yep. Yeah, we see a lot of requests for Edge.
And why is that? Is that it is so popular in businesses, the Edge?
Yeah, I think now that Edge is caught up to Chrome in a lot of ways, because actually both browsers use the same underlying technology. So you get a lot of the benefits of Chrome over the old Edge or like the old Internet Explorer. And so it works great, and it's in the Microsoft ecosystem. And so we're seeing a lot of enterprise customers and business customers on Edge.
Cool. So we take Chrome because we know that is true, but it might change in the future. And then, Mark, we have to have two answers here. So would
be happy to update the question.
Yeah. So this is the last part, but I will take the last question after the break, and we'll build a little bit of tension here. And then we will,
the cliffhanger.
And then I will show how to post it on LinkedIn and these things, and we can post it maybe in the community Slack. You have some sort of an off-topic channel there where you can post the certifications maybe and these things. So We will take a break, and then we will be back in 5 minutes, and we will take the last block. That will be around 16 minutes, 17 minutes. So let's have a 5-minute break. Hello and welcome back. Welcome, Todd. We will take the last
Hey,
break
welcome.
here, which will be 18 minutes, and then we are done with the session. Hopefully, we will all have the certification, but there's nothing to say that if you're not finished here, don't rush it. You can just stay at the PixieBrix University as long as you want. How long did you expect it to take, Mark? I know we streamed and Todd and I talked a bit, but what is the expected time for finishing this course?
Yeah, I think you can definitely finish under 3 hours if you're going through every tutorial and reading all the documentation. And so it really depends on your level that you're starting with. We've seen people who have been power users of PixieBrix finish in 25 minutes to 30 minutes, and we've seen the average be about an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Have Mike taken this? And did he pass?
yeah, Mike took
And
it.
Mike is
You can check.
a
You can
colleague
check
of
LinkedIn, I
Marcus.
think, right? Yeah, I think he has it posted.
Yeah, I saw that. Let us see if I'm able to. This is the last question, and then we can start posting it to LinkedIn. So, what would solve this error and correctly show an iframe in the sidebar panel? I have no idea, to be honest. I haven't read or anything about iframes and the sidebar panels, but maybe we can.
Yeah, this is actually one we could give a try in the page editor.
Yeah, that
we
could
have
be
a
nice.
little bit of time.
So, yeah, we have. I can just go in here, right?
Yeah, you'll need to close out of here, and then from the add menu, if you want to add a sidebar panel.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so you can see there that it opens up. The sidebar panel comes with one brick already attached, which is, I think we mentioned before, our kind of no-code way to create your own sidebar panel. In this particular test question, what's happened is that there's also another brick in between. So if you click that plus button after sidebar panel and then search for iframe, and you'll see it's actually grayed out, but you should be able to still click the and then if you click add brick, yeah, this will give you the test setup of what's happening in that question.
So a panel can only have one renderer. There are one or more other renderers configured for this extension, and that is this render document. A render must be the last brick. So maybe you cannot show an iframe in the side panel. That is definitely wrong. Switch the iframe and render brick positions, but then we will still have two renders, right? If we it says that we can only have one render.
You could try switching it by clicking the arrow, and we can see what happens there.
We will still have an error. So then it has to be add a brick in the render document brick preview window and add an iframe to that brick you just created. So we can.
So in this case, if you remove the iframe that we just added here by clicking that trash icon, so now it's working. And then on the right-hand side, in the in that preview, that's where you can actually add another row or like another element there. So if you click the three dots menu there, and if you scroll down and choose brick.
Oh, so I can add a brick over here.
Yeah. And so there you can actually then embed, you can embed kind of sub panels inside of here. So if you click there, that's where you can then show a web frame, an iframe within there.
So we got the right answer here.
Yep.
I think we're done. So that was 25 questions, great questions, and some of them were a bit difficult, but maybe a great way is to reason, use a little bit of logic where we can either try the actual thing that we did here, or maybe we can rule out like one of them, and then it might only be a 50-50. And of course you shouldn't guess, but it's not expected that you know the answer to each of these questions after going through this. It's actually expected that you can answer like 18. Was it 18 you have to answer correct, Mark?
Yep. You need a 75% to pass.
And answering 18 questions right is just as good as answering 25 questions right, because that will get us the certification. So it's not a competition in that way. And maybe
we've seen some people screenshotting their scores though to their friends. So it depends on who your friends are.
if this is a 100%, I will definitely also screenshotting this. So I will.
We've also seen people use PixieBrix to change that number.
Before they screenshot it, yeah.
And so this was a great track. So here I'll just save it. So and we have some comments in the chat. I'll just save this so we have it here if I need to post it. So PixieBrix certification over here. And Aditya says, an amazing session, kudos to all. And I believe Aditya was the one with the Python question to Todd earlier on. So nice to have you here, Aditya. And if any one of you else completed this session, maybe you're still working on it, please let us know in the chat and give us some feedback. But we still have some work to do because we're not completely finished with this. Now here I can see all the correct answers, or if I have some errors, then it would show up here. And we can click continue. What is your job title? Well, we can say, you have several titles. What problems are you using PixieBrix to solve? I will say that Nuno Diaz says, many thanks. I believe Nuno also completed this certification. So if that's the case, thanks a lot, Nuno. And else, it's also nice to have you here if you plan to complete it later on. So thank you. What problems? Yeah, it was great to have all of you, and there's a lot of people saying that. Abanoob says very useful session. Thanks a lot, and Todd and Mark definitely made it even more useful, and of course this certification made it extremely useful. So yeah, thanks to all helping us studying together here. I think that one of the reasons why we did it was to motivate each other and get started with PixieBrix. So that one was really good. And Asta said, a great session even for a beginner. Thanks a lot. And hopefully, Asta, did you complete this track, or are you still working on it? But I will say, what problems are you using PixieBrix to solve? I think for me, I'll say attended RPA automation. That will probably be my main thing, because that's the area I work in. What are typical answers here you get, Mark, when people give you feedback on this, or tell you which problem they want to solve?
Yeah, we've seen attended automation actually a couple times already, and then some of the other ones are adding on to old web applications, and so in the pop-up modals.
And what do you call this? I told before you joined, I told Todd that at my previous job that I had when I had a real job, we used a program called WalkMe, which we guided the users there. This program was extremely expensive, so we could definitely have used PixieBrix back then, but we blocked some of their, as I said, that if we weren't satisfied with some of the that they had filled in the field, then we could block this confirm button, make it unclickable. We used that a lot, and of course also a lot of other things. We made some guidance, and we made some with a little bit of helps, if because these old web systems weren't as good, it wasn't ours, so we used it for that. What do you call that? User guidance, or
yeah,
like process guardrails as well. We see a lot of people using some of the newer bricks too. I think there's a show tour brick, which is really interesting. If you read the documentation on that, you can introduce the different parts of a web page to someone.
What do you call it?
I think it's the show tour.
So maybe
that's probably also a feature that WalkMe would have, where if you've ever done one of those product tours where they kind of highlight an element and show you how to use that element and kind of take you around the interface, you can actually build that with PixieBrix as well. We have a brick that can walk through the different elements of a page.
We should have known that, because we built it in the browser as well. So that could have saved us I don't think I can mention how much the company paid, because but it was a lot of money, and could definitely have been saved. How much the company? Do you look at the company size or the team size when you determine how much you price? I know it's free for teams with less than 3 or 5 users. Is that right?
Yep, less than 5, it's free, and then we also have a business tier where we start layering on some of like the automatic deployments feature and some of the auditing features. And then our enterprise tier is where you get to some of the more enterprise features that you tend to think about, whether that's single sign-on or other things.
Cool.
I think other individual use cases that we often hear on PixieBrix, so like scraping web pages to a spreadsheet or to an Airtable, or also kind of form fill or message templates as well. We see a lot of for individual use cases.
Cool. We will take some comments, and then we will get back to how I post this on LinkedIn and, of course, in the community Slack. So, Ville says, "Congrats, Anders, for your certification." Thank you, Ville. Thanks for joining, and I know you were quite active in the chat, so it was nice to have you here. Asta says, "I'm still working. Will complete today." Take your time, Asta. This is you can just. I think you can complete it even tomorrow if you choose to do that. Is that right, Mark?
Yep, you can take the certification and learning path at your own pace.
Cool. And then Preetham says that, "Hi, in certificate, I'm getting Google user. How can I change that due to Google account? Mark, headache."
Yeah,
you shouldn't laugh because we would definitely want that certification.
Yeah, definitely. I can go in and I'll reach out to you, Preetham. I'm able to change the names on the certificate, so let me do that right after the stream. And
Yeah.
Wait, is that how Mike got his certificate, Mark? Yeah, you changed the.
Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have revealed that.
No, and when you say you reach out to him, is that on the community Slack, an email, or how can he expect that, Mark?
Yeah, if you join the community Slack, I'll be able to private message you individually.
Preetham, the community Slack, the link will be in the video description, or you can navigate to pixiebrix.com and then scroll all the way to the bottom and then find this Slack icon that will also taking you to the Slack PixieBrix, and then you can tag Mark or write him directly. So I hope that answers it. We have a certificate. How likely are you to recommend this certification course to a friend or colleague? Mark, that will be a 1. Okay. I will definitely. How can we improve this? I think that cover more topics, but this will just be of a personal interest because I would like to see some more cooler features. To me personally, I would say that I'm looking forward for the Automation Anywhere course when you're creating that. I'm more like a UiPath developer or Power Automate developer, but I'll definitely take that when you have that ready, and looking very much forward to it. So I would say that this is just a constructive feedback, I would say, with integrate with RPA. And you already told us that you are planning a course for that will be in January or something. And could we improve it even more? No, I don't think I have anything else here. But of course, this was a professional certification. We will not have. This is just my personal needs and interest that we'll have here. Then we'll continue. So now I can click share your achievement, click copy, and click LinkedIn. And where do I share this to? Just so I can click share in a post, click the text. Oh, so here I can just write it. Let's try that.
Yeah,
maybe
so
you
once
can.
You click complete and continue, the first thing you want to do is get your certificate, I'm sure. So we can go ahead and click that.
And is that the one that the extension or the blueprint that Anders had downloaded, or is this a different? Yep. Oh, I see. Now I see the button there. Okay.
Yep. Right. And so an interesting thing about the blueprint that we had you download is the add certificate to LinkedIn button that you're seeing at the bottom of the page there. That's actually a PixieBrix and not part of the certification platform. And so what we can do with this is you can click that button to read all the information from your page. And so there's a little pop-up modal explaining what's about to happen. And when you click add certification, that's going to actually pre-fill your LinkedIn certification with the expiration date, name of the certification company, and the URL and credential ID.
Should I just click? I can just click save here, right?
Yep. And so when you click save here, you'll be able to see it now on your profile.
I will be creating a post later on. So I actually also posted a PixieBrix. If you haven't seen that, that's from the command center today here. So it was actually yesterday I created the picture, but and Oh, this was the post, but and then you say I could go down here. Oh yeah, here it is. So in the licenses and certification, and I'm now PixieBrix Professional Certified. And it's even with an ID. I could click Show Credential, and it takes me to the PixieBrix course page, and Todd signed for me here. Cool.
Yep. So
and,
that's a really interesting use case of the PixieBrix blueprints activating and being able to use them across a wide range of audience here.
And what you're telling me here was that, just to understand it, I have so many tabs open. Maybe we should create something. So what you're saying, that this button here isn't a part of this page naturally. This is because we added the blueprint from the marketplace. Was that correctly understood?
Yeah, and one thing you can actually do is you can open up the page editor to see that it's actually a blueprint and how it was built. And so once we look at this will be an interesting way where if you haven't built any of the tutorials yet, you could see a very simple brick where it incorporates a pop-up modal, that jQuery selector reader that we were talking about to pull some of the information off the page, as well as opening a new tab and things like that.
Is this it? Is it? I don't need any more bricks to create this blueprint. Of course.
Yep. Yeah, that's all you need. So.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
So we could definitely have used that, as I told you earlier, in the previous job here. We still have 1 minute and 40 seconds left, so we will just maybe we can post it on the community Slack. We can post it in the Hangout. That's like the off-topic channel, right?
Yep.
I will download it here. Just place it here on my desktop. Here, and upload from the computer. Here we will have the desktop. It will be this one here.
That's looking good in there.
Yeah, that was really, really cool to be a part of. And I think that's, Abanup says there's an issue for the website. Which website are we talking about? Maybe you can join the community Slack, and I'm sure that one of the employees there will definitely solve it for you, Abanup. So again, thanks to everyone out there joining the session. You made it a nice place to be, with a lot of great activity in the chat. And thanks to PixieBrix. Thank you, Todd. Thank you, Mark, for building this track for us. I know that you weren't alone with this, but you were the main contributor. So thanks a lot. I'm looking forward for the next certification that you create for us.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to come back and do another live stream together.
That could be cool. Thanks a lot, Todd, for all the great answers.
Yep. Thanks for having us on, and really enjoyed meeting everyone in the community today.